What's up, guys? We are live. We got a beautiful sight over here. Two cute dogs sleeping next to each other. See, me and my girlfriend, we sleep next to each other, and now our dogs sleep next to each other. It's extra cute.
Very
But,
adorable.
but yeah, so we're gonna do something new this stream. We're gonna let guys on one by one, and we're gonna answer your questions. So it's like a free mini coaching session. So we'll do like I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes a person, depends on how interesting it is. So we're gonna drop the link. You have to show your face in order to get on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or exceptions about it. I have to be confident that you're not in troll for me to let you on. So it's going to be, like I said, one-on-one. We'll drop the link shortly. And then, you know who does this, where I got this idea from? FitX Fearless. Always see his people asking me, can you do something like this?
Is that the guy we had on?
No, we had Austen on. Different black guy.
They're all the same to me. I don't know. Let me have a look.
But yeah, should be interesting. Lloyd, you always have a topic or two at the back of your head.
Yeah, cool. I mean, well, we could talk about. Do you think that if you were dating somebody from a different political party, do you think that it can work out? I did a video where I gave my opinion on this, and I let a lot of guys in the comments who had some strong opinions. But I want to know what your guys' opinion is. Can you date somebody? Let's pick the most recent election. Do you think someone who voted for Kamala and someone who voted for Donald Trump can date and be a successful relationship? What do you guys think?
I mean, it's just really hard for me to date a retarded person, so that would be the issue. Because, if she's voting for Trump, then there's got to be something wrong with her head. I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on how political both parties are. I've hooked up with a lot of Trump girls, but could I date one of them? I don't know. I guess if she was the rare, smart, intelligent Trump voter, which are dime a dozen, then maybe. It would, I mean, if she had a good
you think that most people who voted for Trump are dumb?
I think they're on average dumber than people who voted for a Democrat. Yeah,
I used to think that too.
I think there might even be polling around that says that is true.
I would swear my.
I'm in Mensa and I voted for Trump. So.
Well, exactly. Case in point.
Mensa is a high IQ society.
You
have to take an official IQ test again.
No, I mean, I used to think that people on the left were smarter when I was in the Bay Area, and then I don't believe that anymore. I think there are smart people on both sides, and there are dumb people on both sides for sure.
I mean, you're talking about the whole population. That's true for anything, but I think on average, people that are in cities and have college degrees and have higher IQs typically vote more left. But this whole idea that everyone that votes Trump must be stupid, I think there's a lot of other factors that pull them in to vote that way. And of course, sitting on the outside, you might think reasonable minds with enough information is going to vote this way. But the problem is you might have a reasonable mind, but then you're pulled with a lot of shitty information is what it seems like. So yeah, I don't think that's stupid. I just think on average, that's probably a true statement.
Yeah, on average, yeah, there's definitely some smart people who vote for whatever. But
I'll give my take on the topic.
If you make a law and you say that you can only vote if you have a bachelor's degree or higher, Republicans would never win. Even if you said that you would have to graduate from high school before you can vote, Trump would still lose the election. So that just kind of tells you a lot.
That's a good point.
I'll give my take to bring it back to the topic.
But go, Austen.
Yeah, I think your question is, can you date someone and make it work? Yes, but I think typically I did. So what? Typically, I think you get along better with people who have similar values, and that is one of the things for a long-term relationship. You want some values alignment, because if there's not values alignment, then you're going to have a lot of disagreements through what do we do with our lives? How do you work? Do I work? How do we raise our kids? What do we teach our kids? Where do we live? All this type of stuff is going to come up, and there's going to be a lot more friction in the relationship. So I think it's generally better to date someone who has similar values to you. Is it possible? Sure. You can date anyone, sure. But I think it's a likelihood thing, and how enjoyable the relationship is as well. I like to be with people where it just kind of feels effortless,
Yeah. Do you think that you can have similar values but have voted for different people?
100%. Yeah. It goes back into Alex's point about how much you're into politics. Some people just voted Trump because they were oh, these fucking like weirdos online that think that like, yeah, I don't know their retarded beliefs these days, but all this woke shit. Yeah, I think some people would just be like, I don't like that Trump. And if you actually go into the policies and you actually speak about it, I think a lot of these people would share very similar values to you. I think the difference here would be someone that is like a true Trump advocate versus someone that is like a huge Democrat left advocate. These two are just not going to work ever. But I think for like 90% of people that vote in America, most of them just don't give a fuck. And it's probably just I just saw this one thing, or this is like my feeling about it. But if you actually spoke about values, I think that is the more important thing to Lloyd's point.
People mostly vote on vibes. It's not a lot of
vibes,
people
exactly.
that vote on actual policy.
Values.
No, I mean, like, to be fair, like, I know some smart Trump voters, like Andrew from the Crucible. You know, I may have a million disagreements with him, but he's clearly a very, very intelligent guy. I think he voted for Trump, but his reasons are like quite different. Like he's just hardcore religious, and Trump is gonna be more likely to be like anti-abortion, and that's like part of like one of his like big arguments is gonna be.
Like I voted for Trump, but I also hooked up with a Venezuelan illegal immigrant 2 nights ago. So it's like, yeah.
You should have told her that. See how she felt.
Dude, she told me before we hooked up. It was kind of funny. She was like, yeah, me, my mom, my daughter, we all like, traveled through like Honduras and Mexico and crossed the border. And like, she was like, it was the most epic journey.
Austen is just as dialing ice on his phone. Like,
I was about to say, did you report her?
No, dude, honestly, I would want to do a similar journey, even though I'm an American. Like, how sick would that be? You're like in the desert, like hiking. I love hiking. You're in the desert. You get to like
getting
hop
like
a wall,
like coyotes and like human.
I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but I climbed the Berlin Wall and I sat on top of the Berlin Wall and took a photo there. So I don't know. It's just fun to do things that are a little bit outside. The gray areas.
Is that not allowed?
Huh?
Is that not allowed?
No, like I hopped a fence to be able to climb the Berlin Wall, and I sat on top of the Berlin Wall.
No one caught you?
No, but I have a photo on my personal Instagram if you want to check it out. It was kind of funny. I posted it. I was like, dude, this is the sickest photo ever. Like, the story behind it is so awesome. I posted it, and it was like one of my least liked photos ever. And I was like, oh, yeah, people don't even know what the Berlin Wall is.
Yeah, most people don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, most people, where they were trapped in East Germany, like unable to climb it. I'm like sitting on top of it, like LOL, but like it doesn't come
I'm
across.
American, bro. I'm American.
Yeah.
It's easier to climb the wall when
this
there's
fucking
no
wall,
gun
you retards. Yeah, like what the fuck? What's stopping you? Seriously.
Climb over this bitch.
It was
your
interesting
family's
how,
on the other
how
side.
they
Just
designed
jump.
it over time, though. They got more and more
comments.
serious over time and added more and more defense and
I think
dude. We have to get some shots before I do the Darien Gap. But how fun would that be, dude?
The Darien Gap is like the most dangerous fucking hike ever. I mean,
you guys aren't down for anything adventurous.
No, not for the fucking Darien Gap.
I'm down.
When I was younger, I used to want to do it, but and I've actually researched the shit out of it, like how to actually get across it. But there's like, first of all, you have like the fucking local tribes there that shoot like white people on sight mostly. Then you have all the Colombian FARC guys there who would also kidnap you, and then you have obviously the wildlife. It's like
Alex, if it wasn't for your health issues, would you have the desire to go do adventurous stuff and travel and do have fun
absolutely.
experiences?
I used to do that stuff all the time before I had.
So what do you need medically to be able to do that?
I mean, this would get like a long conversation, but to answer the question succinctly, I have to take like a million fucking things every day. I need to do IV antibiotics once every 3 days. I do now bee venom therapy, so I need access to my bees 3 times a week. That's just the basics.
So could you put that in a van and have like a medical on the go, keep Alex alive station?
Could I? Yeah. Would it be comfortable for me? No. I mean, like I'm also like very susceptible to like physical stressors. So if like one night I sleep 7 hours instead of 8 hours, I like really feel it, and just like my brain works at 50% of the speed. So,
bro, that's fucking rough. How do you get everything done? Jesus, because you're pretty efficient in terms of pumping out content and shit like that. Like, damn.
I've always been really hardworking, and also all I do is just work and hang out with my dog, hang out with my girlfriend, occasionally hang out with my friends, and that's basically my life. Yeah, I just work most of the time.
So the bee venom, how do you take that? What the hell is?
It's exactly what it
Markus?
sounds like. You just have bees bite you. So you grab them with the tweezers. You can actually order bees online.
No,
Fun
stop.
fact. You can order bees online. So it takes
So
a
you
while.
have like a hive?
Yeah, I have like well, they come in like packages, but yeah, I have like
Alex, you got to be on some kind of watch list for all the stuff you've been
I
ordering.
have like 40 bees in my room. Like they're trapped, but you take them out with the tweezers and you put them an inch away from your spine. They sting you. You kind of go like, oh fuck, this hurts for a few minutes. Then you do another.
Dude, this is like adding objections for
That's
bowling.
baller.
What do I hear
Jesus
flying
Christ.
around in there? Oh, it's just like 40 bees. Like,
Actually, yeah.
Just relax,
usually
they're
I'm pretty good at
bees.
catching them, but a few days ago I had 2 bees get loose, and so I decided not to tell my girlfriend about it because I didn't want to freak her out. And then next day, like as she was like dropping her off at her place, I was like telling her the bees got loose. She's like, "Fuck." I heard buzzing, and I was like, "Am I going crazy, or his bees just fucking surrounding me right now?"
Jesus.
so when they bite you, they obviously die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they die like a few minutes afterwards.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, here's do you guys want to do a question? Or did anybody sign on?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people here.
By the way, someone wrote about is it that Denmore guy or someone? Apparently,
Yeah.
you used to live with him, Austen. He got like sentenced apparently.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah. I just chat
happened?
GPT'd it because someone asked in the thing. He was sentenced 3 years.
Well, are
according
you
to
not familiar with the
ChatGPT.
story? It's a really tragic story.
I
No, but
heard
it was
the-
like he had a
accusation.
case.
Well,
and
let's
then
ask
he was
if
just
Austen
like,
wants to talk about this first. I don't know how close they are, but is this something that you want to talk about? I don't know. How close you
I
are
lived with him
Demo.
for 1 month in Miami, like a month and a half. He was a really
Okay,
cool
so you
guy,
guys are-
very social guy.
Yeah.
Talk to guys, talk to girls,
Yeah, I
and
met
super
him,
hardworking.
So
Yeah.
I can tell the story because I like researched this because it was fascinating. So keep in mind he lives in Canada, so things are a bit different. But so
Alex, can you put the Q&A link up there? I think someone wants to use it.
I don't have it yet. Let me just tell the story and then I'll drop it because
No
I can't multitask for shit. So basically, he had sex with this girl, it was consensual, and then the girl claims afterwards that she withdrew her consent during sex, and the judge actually, who was like in charge of the case, was like, yeah, like even though you had consent initially, you should have been checking consent all along, and it's your fault that you didn't know that the girl withdrew consent, and so therefore you're guilty of I think sexual assault or rape or whatever. But yeah, I think largely it came down to because the girl wasn't happy that he made infield of her. He didn't make it like a sex tape or anything, as far as I know. But I think what happened, this chick got butthurt when she saw like infield of herself, and so she just got the ultimate revenge. Basically, that's
I think.
Yeah, so I guess
he
it didn't
did- I
have
think he
to
did
do
bring
that
out
much.
the camera during sex. That's what I read it, and I think he did bring out the camera like right when they were about to do it. That's what.
Yeah,
I
I thought he took videos of like the girl sucking his dick or something. I read this ages ago when it first came out, but yeah, I don't remember the details exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, what were we gonna say, Austen?
I was gonna say we should give some lessons for people. So this is what I do: is before any time I have sex with a girl, obviously I let it gradually build up to the point where it's sex is like gonna happen, and then we start hooking up, etc. Before I ever stick my dick in, I make a girl literally beg for my dick. I'll make her say either "fuck me" or like I'll be like, "What do you want?" and she'll be like, "Your dick," And that way, I don't only get consent, but I get like horny, like enthusiastic consent. Obviously, during sex, you're like paying attention to how she's reacting to certain things, etc., making sure she has a great experience. Obviously, if she comes, that's a bonus. And then after sex, like
Your Honor, she had an orgasm.
but I think the whole thing is like you're making sure the general principle is ensure that the girl's having a great time with you throughout the entire date, including sex. And even after sex, like I make sure that she has a good time. I manage expectations properly. And like funny enough, all right, 2 days ago, but all right. And then after sex last time, yeah, this is the guy. He says I fuck BBWs every time. I'm like, what? You can literally see. I love how people are saying things where on video you can see what's happening. I've dated models. I've dated girls who are like,
Austen, don't feed them. Don't feed
AI.
the fools.
I know. It's just
You do fuck some hot
Whatever.
girls. I'll give you that.
We all know you get hot chicks. This guy is getting exactly what he wants.
Whatever. I do.
Yeah, but
fuck
also real
sometimes to a
quick,
lot
but
of-
he probably did all
But
that
I was gonna
shit.
say, even after
This is
sex,
just
I make
bad
sure the
luck.
girl has a good time. Like, and she gets home okay. I'm like, hey, are you all right? Like, you just make sure that you're like this almost caring, protective, like positive man around her. And like a lot of girls will say this to me, even just talking to me, like even before sex, they're like, I could tell you're a good guy. Right. If you're just in tune with her subjective emotional experience, you're making sure your intent is that she's having a great time. That comes through in all the layers of communication. So, right. It's like what you say, how you say it, the intent behind it, who you are, and how you feel about yourself. So there's like 5 layers of communication. And if all that's congruent and you want to give the girl a great time, there's less chance of this to that is likely to happen. Can a girl get fucking, do some manipulative stuff afterward because she's butthurt about something? Sure, but I mean, you protect yourself as best as you can. I would also recommend if you live in a state where you can record in your living room, kind of like nanny cam, 100% recommend that, because you can tell by the way the girl's behaving around you, like what the vibe is. You always have that as a backup. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the
Austin
biggest
got a lot
thing
of
to
good
be.
things. Oh, sorry, Marcus. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I think the biggest thing here is something I call like retroactive consent. Like for most of the guys listening, it's not going to be a case. Like we can tell everyone like, okay, Fry is freely given, informed, reversible, specific, whatever it is. Like I think people know that if a girl says no, okay, then we probably shouldn't have sex with her. I think a lot of people understand that. I think the biggest problem when it comes to allegations, and a lot of the time, unfortunately, false allegations, is a retroactive part. Is the girl will think basically, I will consent having sex to someone that, as Austin said, I think is a nice guy and I think will want to see me again. And then after sex, if you're like, oh yeah, fuck this bitch, I'm not messaging her again, and then you're posting stories of other girls, or you've taken infield and put her on a line or some shit, she's going to look back at that and say, hang on, I didn't consent to having sex with a guy that was going to treat me like shit and like never message me again. So technically I didn't really consent to sex. Like that's the thought process that goes on. And so now all of a sudden she does feel that way. Like I must have been used. I must have. And sometimes the friends will be like, hey, when you had sex with that guy, and it becomes more and more pressure. I've had friends years ago that had allegations like this. And luckily their friends actually came in and testified and was like, this is a piece of shit. And that was fine. But you got to be really careful here that after sex, you're making sure that she's okay with the types of sex that just happened. So this is like sending a message the next day if you're a little bit unsure. It might be validating her. This sounds funny, but every time I have like a gangbang and there's a bunch of guys with the one girl, afterwards, it's always like, that was amazing. I can't wait to see you again. Like in those cases, if you're just like, all right, that was fun. See you, bitch. Bye. She's going to feel regret after that. So retroactive consent, making sure the girl is happy with it afterwards, not just I'm having sex, she said yes, is the most important part of the consent. It shouldn't be that way, obviously. Girls shouldn't be able to like take back consent retroactively, but that's just the way it's going to happen. So you got to be careful of that.
I'll just give my 2 cents. The only thing I do really is after sex, like maybe half an hour after she leaves, I say that was fire. I send her a text. And then once she responds to that and she says, yeah, it was a lot of fun or whatever, bam, you're good.
Good. Yeah.
That's my advice.
Cool.
All right,
I think some guys want to get on the stream right now, so maybe we'll bring them on.
Let's bring them on. All right, Jesse, do me a favor and put up 2 fingers so I know you're real. All right, cool. All right, hello.
What's up, guys? Good to see you all. Some of you might recognize me. Lloyd, you've coached me one-on-one in the past. So my question is, currently I'm in situation in my run club where girls who are in relationships, or I suspect could be in relationships, are showing me a lot of attention. They're choosing to run with me instead of their boyfriends who are also there, who have also met. And, they're going out of their way to add me on Facebook and just showing me a lot of attention, So I'm wondering, what's the best way to handle these situations? I think, I don't really want to ruin anyone's relationship, but if they are pursuing me and showing me a lot of attention, then I think it's probably just to reciprocate that attention. And, if I'm not sure if they're in a relationship or not, then just, make a move. Hey, be like, hey, we should get a workout in sometime. Should we run together, train together, and then, kind of go on from there. So
Jesse, how much experience do you have with cold approach, and how much, if you feel comfortable sharing, how many girls have you been with? What's your experience level?
Okay. I've been with long-term I've never been in LTR, but I've had a lot of experience dating. A lot of my dates have come from cold approach, yes, and a few from social circle, especially Run Club. But I mean, for me, the best
So
ROI.
can you share how many intimate moments you've shared with lovely women?
What's your leg count, bro?
0.
Yeah. So that I kind of, this is my initial, like, as you were talking, just based on your communication, I could tell certain things, but I would not, when you go to social circle, at least from my experience, it's almost like you have more things to think about. So my general feedback is get good at cold approach, or get good in situations where you're in more anonymous environments. Because when you go in more known environments where reputation is more of a factor, it's almost like your brain does like more calculations, and you don't know how to read the signals as clearly as what is like just friendly stuff. What is her using you for certain, like, about emotional investment? What is her like actual genuine interest? These type of things are very kind of like taxing mentally to like figure out if you don't have a lot of references. So I felt from my experience, it's like I can get, once I got good at cold approach, these like situations with social circle settings or whatever become so much easier. Like I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good at ultimate frisbee, and sometimes, you know, I'll be playing ultimate frisbee really well, and there's like a girl there, and I'll just start talking to her, being social, etc. Get her Instagram, lead it toward a date, and it's awesome because like I can tell when there's intent. I know how to signal my intent in more of like an invisible way.
Really good at frisbee.
But it's like anything, you know. If you're athletic, I'm sure you're a pretty good runner. If you're athletic in anything, girls do get more attracted to that. It's like one of the most primal attraction triggers. And so, and then you just, you know, you're a cool guy, you're social, you talk, you get an Instagram, and you can either invite for one-on-one or another group thing. I personally just like to do the one-on-one right away.
Yeah, me too.
And that's literally what I Friday I met a girl at Ultimate. Saturday I closed the girl from Ultimate. It's really nice. And the thing is, I've already put in all the work beforehand, so I can read her cues. I can signal intent in a non-weird way in front of a bunch of different people, and I know what's going on. So that would be my advice. Get like about 20, 30 lays from cold approach before you start adding in some social circle stuff. Social circle is great to build that like base of socialization and like that social skill, but I think over time, if you want to get results, it's better to learn the skill of cold approach first. Before
Lloyd, we've talked about this too during our one-on-ones. Like, cold approach is getting fucking annoying now. Like, it's just getting all the rejection. It's like largely feeling like a waste of time. That's a problem. Like, I'm going through, and
where are you approaching?
Like at the park, at the grocery stores, the gyms. So
what about bars?
I don't do night game. To me, it's not my cup of tea. So I used to do it, but not anymore. So I mean,
you can still go to social.
Do you think there's something that you could learn from doing night game?
Not anymore. I used to do it, but like it's just the caliber of woman. Just it's not what I'm looking for.
There's something I could learn from doing that more. There's something everyone on this panel could learn from doing more night game. No one's at a point where they're like 100% done with the learning. I would slightly disagree with Austen. Like I don't think you need to. I think it's a good idea to learn cold approach, but I don't think you need to do it first. So wait, you said this girl has a boyfriend, or you're not sure if she has a boyfriend?
There's two showing me interest right now. Well, there's several showing me interest, but like these are like the two I'm most interested in. One of them does have a boyfriend, but she's showing me a lot of attention. She's gonna run with me instead. And another one, you know, was also showing me attention. But I kind of looked her up, saw that, you know, she was with another dude, but probably in the past. I'm not sure if they're still together. So may invite her out for an activity one-on-one and see where it goes from there. So
yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Just pick whichever one you like first and go with her. Invite her for a drink, and then see what happens. I mean, yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right now I'm just finding higher caliber woman in social circle, whereas cold approach is getting really fucking annoying for me now because
but Austin is saying to learn cold approach, not to find your dream wife, although that could happen.
I've done thousands and thousands of cold approach.
Jesse, I'm so sorry. How many women have you slept with? It's 0, right?
0, yeah, like I said earlier.
So all right, how many women in night game wanted to sleep with you and you said no?
At the, I'm not sure. I mean,
So
I've never been in
I think Marcus is getting at that, like, maybe we haven't given Night Game a good enough try. Is that what you're saying, Marcus?
I'm not even getting at that. I'm getting at either something's happening here, something's off. Okay.
Okay.
Either one, there's a lot of average women that are throwing themselves at you, and you're got too high standards right now, and you're saying, no, I need the 10, I need a high caliber one, which is like you're never going to get the high caliber girl unless you gain some experience and actually start sleeping with some women. So if you're got this crazy high expectation, that needs to be lowered, okay? You need to get some experience. My guess here is more likely there probably isn't a bunch of girls throwing themselves at you, and this may be something to reflect on, maybe a bit of a defense mechanism where, okay, you're going Night Game, it's not that successful, we ask what's wrong, and instead of saying, look, I'm just not building attraction, they're not high caliber women. In your run club, right?
Yeah.
This would be my guess, is that I'm not actually sure if these girls want to sleep with you. This girl with a boyfriend, you're at a run club, you seem like a really sweet, nice guy, you're chill, you're at a run, she's probably just running with you and chatting with you. Like, I don't imagine this girl is thinking, I want to fuck this guy, okay? I don't give a fuck about my boyfriend, I'm going to leave, they're probably just being really friendly. So I would encourage you to start showing a little bit of interest, maybe be a little bit disagreeable, and you can practice that in Night Game easier than you can social circle. Sure, do both. But there's something going on here that is just often doesn't sound right. And when that happens, it's usually our ego getting in the way and protecting us a little bit. So I would just spend some time and reflect on that, because what should be happening right now is you reflect on that, figure out what it is, and the end result should be, you know what? I'm going to go out in Night Game, I'm going to go out in Day Game, and yeah, I'm going to fuck some girls and aren't 10s, and I'm going to gain some experience here because that's going to help me in the long term. But yeah, something for you to figure out, I think.
Yeah, and I would definitely push back on your idea that there's no quality women that you can meet through cold approach. Every woman leaves her house at some point. So every woman's going to go to the grocery store, go to the mall, or walk around the street, walk her dog, walk in a nice part of the city.
I told you I've done thousands of cold approaches. The first girl I've ever made out with my entire life came from a cold approach. I know.
So you keep talking about the quantity of approaches. Game is a skill game. So what you need to do is use the quantity of approaches to improve your skill set. So every time you come back, are you reviewing audio infield, video infield, writing a field report, asking Lloyd for feedback? What could I do better? Are you getting wingmen to go out with that are a little bit better than you and asking them how to improve? Or is it just like you're trying to hit a number? And another thing too is the problem with just doing quantity is, especially if you're doing something wrong, like keep in mind, 99% of people don't know how to do a day game open. Everyone opens from behind, touches the girl, scares her, and opens too close. They don't have their tonality on point. And also, there's this concept that I just came back from NAC therapy boot camp, and one of the things they talk about is that you can tell if people have lines on their forehead like this, it means that they're often angry, right? If they have if they have like crow's feet here or whatever, a little bit more wrinkles here, they smile a lot, right? Your resting face is, I'm just gonna be honest because I want to give you blunt feedback. It's just kind of sad. It's just like sad, bored, and those are kind of the states that you probably inhabit a lot.
Right. I mean, what I'm trying to, when I open, right, I've done that in the past. I understand. But when I open, I smile. I'm very confident. Like, how I'm communicating with you now is completely different than how I code approach. And it's, to me, it's
listen, you're right, man. You're right. You got it sorted.
If you're doing a pretty decent job when you're cold approaching, then why have you not hooked up with any of the girls from cold approach, right? Like, obviously, like, you have to be honest with yourself here. Yeah. And the reason you're frustrated with cold approach is because you're not seeing results. The reason you're not seeing results is because your skills are not that good. If your skills were decent, you would at least see some results. It has nothing to do with the quality of the girls or anything like that. It just has to do with the fact that you're frustrated of spinning your wheels. But again, you shouldn't try to convince yourself that you've already given it a full try. You've done it, and I've tried this for a while and just won't work for me. Yeah, there's more than one way to do cold approach, and the vast majority of people, like Austen said, are doing it very, very poorly. So
and it's tough to admit to yourself that you're not doing this right, because there is a mechanism in our brain. It, like Marcus was getting at, it's an ego protection thing where you're like, no, I am doing everything right. I need, because there's a part of your brain is telling you everything's fine. I'm doing it, and it is actually a valid mechanism in the brain to be confident. However, my results only started when I said, you know what, I can get better at this by following someone else's advice and by learning and improving and not thinking that I know it all. So there's a book that I would leave you with before we go on to the next person. It's called Ego is the Enemy. And the really important lesson I got from that book personally was always stay the student. You know, I'm never going to say, hey, I'm the most confident, I'm the most awesome, I'm the best at game, whatever. I can always learn. I can learn from Marcus. I can learn from Alex. I can even learn from what people do wrong, what people do right, and always stay the student because there's always more to learn. As soon as you go, I have it all figured out, that's when your results start to go down. And that's when you bring up an ego, not only with other men, but when you're approaching with women. And it's not the best way to form a connection with that ego barrier.
Right. I get that. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is in social circle, I'm able to demonstrate a lot more things when cold approach is really just how
But
I
then
look.
why have you not had
Guys, I'm sorry. Jesse, you know what? I agree. You're right. You're killing it, man. All right, keep doing what you're doing. You're reading all your goals. Everything's working. Everything's perfect. Good job, man. Keep it up.
All right,
You're killing it, Jesse.
I'm gonna try a different approach. Jesse, if you are doing much better at social circle game, then why have you not had, but then why have you not had sex with any girls from social circle? Do you see how that breaks down? It's like me saying I'm really good at business, but for some reason I just don't make any money.
Just the I mean, the quality of women I'm meeting there who are showing me attention is way better than cold approach. So I'm kind of just going on from there. I mean, I don't really
so
care about...
I'll put a lesson from this for everyone else. So when you're in a known setting where you have repeated exposure to women, they do have more time to understand your qualities before making a decision, which is good. And it's a little bit easier in that sense. Mm-hmm. But the problem is when you're in a situation with these high reputational factors, like if you make one misstep, that could cause like the whole group to kind of turn against you. So
I know that, but I mean, I have status in my group, and
exactly. Listen, Jesse knows, guys. He's killing it, guys. Don't listen. I don't know why you guys are trying to give Jesse advice when he knows what he's doing. Listen, we know that these girls are just being friendly with him, and he thinks he could get laid any time, but he's not going to. So he's playing 4D chess. All right, we don't understand. All right, Jesse, you know what? I'm in your corner. Okay, you're killing it, bro. Keep going with the social circle.
Marcus, you mean, homie. You're getting
nah, bro. Listen,
okay, we should move on.
He's killing it. All right, well done. Keep it up.
Hang on. Let's be semi-polite. You just kicked him off. All right.
Well, it's like if people come on, they should at least be willing to say. I mean, anything that we were giving him, he was just like, no. I'm doing great. And this is another thing. This is another interesting aspect of psychology. Is men misinterpret just like general socialization as the woman is interested in me. Like I forget what this effect is called, but it's let me find.
I call it false compliance, right? Like when you have women, this might be at a bar or a waitress, or it might be a girl at a club that is like happily married and just wants to chat to someone. Is all social circle settings, like at work or something like that. When you do night game for so long, you're used to girls just being mean, rude, and assholes to you. And so in night game, if someone is being pleasant, it's probably because they're into you, right? If they are standing in front of you and talking, there's probably a level of attraction there. So now you got a run club, and these girls aren't telling you, go away. Like, I don't want to speak to you, or like, this is my girlfriend, we're lesbian. Suddenly they're like, oh, and what do you do? What do you study? Or what do you, and you're like, damn, these girls must be really into me because I'm so used to night game. So I think that's the problem he's running into. Now, I was trolling there a little bit. The point I'm trying to make is I feel like with someone like that, every time we say you should do this, all his mind does is want to fight against that. I think the best thing for him is someone to be like, yeah, okay, well, everything must be working for you. Awesome. And then there's a pause where he can think, well, actually, no, everything isn't working for me. That's why I'm kind of on this call and help him to realize that. Now, obviously, when I said that, he's still just like, yes, everything's working. It's amazing. But he's just pushed back on every little thing we said. And I think the more we try to change him, the more he's just going to build up a resistance to that. He needs to have some reflection and just think, what is working here and what isn't? What he's doing isn't working. He's got a 0 lay count, all right? It's not working. He needs to change something. He needs to figure something out. He can look back at this because he's not going to do it now. He can look back at this in a week and see all the advice you guys gave, and he could start applying that. I think right now in this moment, he's just going to fight against everything we say. So
yeah, I mean,
and I just looked it up. It's called sexual overperception bias, and so men overperceive that women are sexualizing the interaction, and women under perceive like socializing as with a sexual intent.
Just
All
real
right,
quick.
let's move on. Yo,
Sorry,
Rahul,
yeah,
what's
let
going on,
Alex.
bro?
Alex
Let me
wanted to say
finish
something.
my-
Alex wanted to say something.
Christ. Yeah, I think 10 minutes is not enough to change someone's mind, especially when they're stubborn. But I think the best approach with people like him is to try to get like sneak in between their ego and just ask questions that make them think about their beliefs. That's why I was trying to ask questions like, well, if you are doing good, why are your results 0? But again, 10 minutes is not enough time.
It's
But-
one technique from the ACT therapy. They have you think about someone else. Like if you met a guy and he was doing this, what would you say to him? You know, or you can use your future self. What would your future self tell you in this situation?
All right, let's be nicer to Rahul. So Rahul, what you got?
Yeah, hi guys. So I don't need any solutions. I just need your advice on how to arrive at a solution. I'll just give my background and then what has been happening in the past few months in my life, and maybe you can advise me of how to set up my life for the remainder of the year. And I have a plan, and you can just give feedback. So I moved to the US 2 years ago. Before that, I was in India. My lay count there was 10, 15. And in the last 2 years, also in the US, my lay count has been the same. The quality of girls have been like sixes, one or two sevens, but mostly fives and sixes. I took a boot camp with Austen. I live in San Francisco, and then gaming was really hard. Then I also got into mentorship where I started getting the results. Um, I face, I mean, white. I struggle the most with white girls. I cannot pick up on their non-verbal cues. They just feel very foreign. And also, like, I feel very sensitive to rejections even after doing it for like 2 years, like rigorously. I was in Miami, did like a 30-day challenge, and still on 27th day, I was feeling approach anxiety and feeling hurt. And um, and then I was like, okay, San Francisco is not working for me. I put really, I went really hard on my job. I'm going to move to New York. There is a lot of volume. I was basically working 15 hours a day for this interesting project, and I was getting a lot of pressure from the seniors because they were getting laid off because of all this AI thing. And at the same time, I just started using finasteride for my hair, and I had like the first panic attack of my life like a month ago. And now I'm slowly getting back into normalcy, but I still have like a lot of cognitive overload. I've started therapy.
Because of
um,
finasteride or unrelated to the finasteride? Due to
because of finasteride, yeah.
Dude,
I just
I hear. Yeah, this is for anyone who always asks me, "Hey, Alex, why don't you get on finasteride?" Stories like this are the reason that I don't want to fuck with finasteride.
Yeah. And I never used any drugs in my life before, and I went through every step, like, I don't due diligence. I went through self-help groups. I bought a course of this guy, Rob Perfect Hair Health, and then consulted a bunch of my personal friends, got a doctor to recommend me, and still like it happened, and it just blew my like view of reality. Like I used to think I was invincible, so now I'm having an identity crisis kind of thing. I started taking therapy. I was taking therapy for my inner game with girls, and so I had like a nice, beautiful woman giving me therapy, but she still has like very feminine way of looking at things, and yeah, it is helping, but there is some sort of improvement there. Then I'm now slowly getting back into things. I'm trying to build myself up, watching Inside Out, thinking, so that it paints me anxiety in a positive way. Then I had a girl over yesterday or day before yesterday, and then I had sex, and my Whoop basically reported that my blood oxygen levels went below 85%. So and now I'm just using a machine to help me like get up to speed. Um, so now, and then I also got laid off from my job. So now the current situation is I got rehired. I got like 3 month mental health break. So June, July, August, I'm planning to just recover, heal myself. Then the remainder of the year, I just work remotely and I work in Google. So you also have an option to just work 80% of your time. So you can take like 3 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You just get 80% of your salary. Um, and so I need your help in making the decision of how should I use these 3 months mental health break and the remaining 4 months. I plan to take mentorship with Austin again. Where should I set up my base? Should I keep it in New York? It's very cognitively overloaded city. Or should I spend some time in Europe or any other place?
Is the main focus of these 3 months is just for like your mental health?
Officially, yes, but if I recover, fine, and
But what is
That's
your
gaming, bro.
let's say hypothetically, if someone else was named Rahul, what would they want to do with the 3 months? What would the purpose be?
I mean, approaching girls is good for mental health.
I agree.
And
so basically, game, mental health, and just kind of like recovering from the finasteride debacle.
basically, health and relationships. Just forget about the wealth part because I'm already getting paid.
All right, I'm going to give you advice, but then at the end, I'm going to actually ask you for your help with something since you work at Google. But anyway, let's start off with you. You guys know where this is going. You guys know where this is
Exchange of services.
So your story is not super uncommon. When I was researching for finasteride, I heard stories similar to this. The way finasteride works is, I'm sure you know, it's on your hormone system. So what finasteride could have done, again, some of this stuff is not really well understood exactly how drug mechanisms affect each person. There's a lot of people who take finasteride have no issues, right? And there's some people like you who take finasteride get really fucked up. There's some people, most people smoke weed, have no issues. And there's a small percentage of people, they smoke weed and they just fucking lose their mind, right? The first thing I would do is find a functional medicine doctor, a good one with high reviews, and make an appointment and do a full hormone panel. Check every possible hormone, not just testosterone, but IGF-1, free T3, free T4, TSH, DHEA, like literally every fucking hormone on the planet.
You can get that at any lab test now. That's the name of the place. Any lab test now.
I would still go through a functional medicine doctor because there's also other things that they probably would check you for. There's a lot of things, vitamin and mineral deficiencies that could totally be setting you back. And it seems like this whole thing was kicked off by something physical, you taking a finasteride pill. So I would, at least in part, approach it from a physical perspective. What percentage of the way? So you mentioned this was like 3 months ago. Like, how much better do you feel than the day after that you taking finasteride? Like, are you 50% better, 80% better, just physically?
So this was 1 month ago, and I took finasteride for 4 or 5 days, and it just happened on like the fifth. Then the second, third day, my brain was just very buzzed. I thought it was because of my work pressure, but I didn't have even time to focus on that I have been taking this medicine daily. And yeah, and then now I was waking up with a lot of anxiety. So basically, one morning I wake up 4 a.m. in the morning with just the panic attack, and everything just felt very painful. Like, hey, my job is painful. I'm not able to get the girl of my dreams. Pickup is painful. New York is painful. India is painful. Everything is painful. Blah blah blah. What will ease that pain? I mean, it went into a really dark place. And then so I was so I was kind of traumatized by sleeping. Every time I used to go to sleep, I was like, okay, I don't want to wake up with anxiety again. So now it's been a month. I'm feeling better. The anxiety levels are still there, but I'm not going into that panic attack or mania.
Okay.
And
Let me ask you another question. You said you live in New York now, right?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. What do you live in, like a house or a condo or?
No, it's an apartment. And
okay, what year was your building?
Doxed.
What year was your building built in? How old is your building?
So there I was in the Victorian building where I had that panic attack. It was like a 1 bedroom with not a good level of sunlight or ventilation, but it had a private yard. So yeah, I think it might have mold. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes. I've personally experienced mold. I've had a few of my friends experience mold, and it fucks you up in a lot of the same ways you're describing. I was also getting like panic attacks. I was having this like really strong anxiety feeling that could not be explained. Sleep was a nightmare. I was waking up every hour. Living in a moldy apartment fucks you up really badly for most people, not for everyone. So that
with the emotions part of it. So the hormonal thing, changing the place. are all logical part, but emotionally I just feel like I don't know what to believe in
Because
anymore.
your
I'm
physical health affects your emotional health, right? So, for example, your testosterone is really low, then you're just not going to be able to cope with daily life. And then once you get that fixed, everything becomes easier. That was the case for me when I got on TRT. Is I used to have just this constant anxiety feeling in my stomach, and just everything seemed like such a fucking like, oh my god, I don't know if I can get through this day. And then just it wasn't like it fixed everything, but just a lot of those issues just went away.
No, so I'll give you an example. So right now, when you were telling that guy that you have to change yourself too much, and that gave me anxiety. It's like basically now I have to also change myself a lot, and I have to lose myself
No,
and blah
I
blah.
just think you need to change your physical health, and that will make the rest of it a lot easier. It's just there's no way you could be emotionally and mentally at your best when your physical health is not good. And I think,
So I
like,
have to set up a routine.
what?
How do I do that? Like I've got Whoop, so I'm using this as a success metric to track
Dude,
test.
I would what I would
Go to-
recommend, similar to what Alex said. There's this thing I did, which is so awesome. Which is basically in the U.S. it would cost like $15,000, but if you do it in another country, it'd be like $500 and take like maybe 4 hours. I did it in Malaysia, and it's basically a comprehensive physical. They check like your eyes, your ears, your hormones, your blood, your piss. They check your organs, ultrasound. They have you like shit in a cup, and they do like literally every single part of your health in like 4 hours. And then you go have lunch, and then you come back and they give you a test. And basically what you want to look for is called comprehensive health screening. The one I did is at Prince Court Medical Center in Malaysia, but they're like every continent will have like its own like best of health screening. But I highly agree with Alex. Like, yeah, you fucking around with finasteride, which I wish you would have asked me first, because I've always told people don't do finasteride, because I've seen things like permanent like depression from finasteride, like a lot of different
message
mental.
from you in the group traumatized more than anything. I was like, okay, I'm fucked for life. When you said that in the
No,
group, I'm
don't
like,
obviously don't catastrophize it. Like you just accept how you are. And the other, you did mention one other thing with the anxiety, which might be your relationship to anxiety, which I'm sure your therapist pointed out, but you never get rid of anxiety. And you should not try to get rid of anxiety. You should not, that should not be a goal. You just should not be repressing it. You should not be trying to get rid of it, but you should be learning how to live with it. Anxiety exists for a reason. All emotions that you feel evolved and exist for a reason. So it's better to have a better relationship and learn to live with these things, rather than saying, I need to get rid of this and delete it from me.
There's appropriate anxiety and then there's inappropriate anxiety. I think he's talking about anxiety that doesn't make sense. Like there's nothing going on. Like for me personally,
yeah, the anxiety attack is like that, and that's obviously we're trying to address that. But you mentioned during your opening statement thing that you still had some approach anxiety after 27 days of approaching. It's like, yeah, like dude, I still feel anxiety approaching now, but it's like it's lower, and I know how to manage it, and I interpret it more as excitement, and it kind of makes me feel alive.
I think his big issue is just like unexplainable anxiety that's just like there without any explanation.
Yeah,
I
this is a
I used to
sub
have
point.
I used to have massive amounts of anxiety. Like even though people couldn't really tell, it was like always in the back of my head. I was always like anxious and shit. And getting out of mold, doing certain health things, and also doing something called TMS, like basically reduced it by 98, 99%. Like
dude, mold is serious, dude. One of the other guys in our group, he had to literally fly home. Yeah. He had to fly home to Australia because his place in Canada was so fucked with mold. Like literally, it was debilitating.
Yeah, and I would check your current place for mold too. Like any building that, any building could have it, but if your building is older than 5-6 years, then yeah, it could definitely have it. For this reason, I only ever live in brand new buildings because I've just experienced it way too many times. So I do the
same. The other advantage of brand new buildings, there's fewer people in the elevators, so less time to wait for people, and oftentimes you get free charging if you have a Tesla or supercar.
I'll also share two.
Not everyone's a faggot who has a Tesla, but yeah.
I'll also share two things which will help guys deal with anxiety. So one thing is what my therapist told me is like every anxiety you get, it's like first you just do like a 3-point check: thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And what am I doing? So even like the approach anxiety, it's like, what am I thinking? Oh, I haven't done gym, I haven't groomed myself, my place is not ready, this girl is too good for me, blah 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 blah. And then what am I feeling? I'm feeling anxiety, I'm feeling not good enough. And what am I doing? I'm just standing here. And then you just become more present and approach. And the another thing she told me, what people run into is the thinking traps.
Oops, my internet.
If I approach this, then this happens, then this. So I think these two things in CBT, maybe you guys can explore it. Definitely helped me.
Yeah, but the problem is that you're right. That stuff is good, but if your anxiety is caused by physical things like mold or hormones being off, then all the CBT in the world is not going to change that. Like, it has to be approached from physical. I can actually, funny enough, my doctor that I see is actually in the San Francisco area, so I can recommend a really good doctor to you. He's a bit pricey, but you probably got money since you work at Google. Like,
Yeah, he
this
probably
dude,
might be on my network insurance.
he's not. The best doctors in America don't take insurance, so he's not going to be in your network. He's no fucking way. But if you want to get, like, dude, you work at Google, you make at least $250,000 a year. Like, just fucking spend money on your health. It's more important. But if you want to send me an email, I'll send you his contact info. My email is playingwithfirechannel@gmail.com. But yeah, I would personally, if I was in your shoes, I would approach it from a physical perspective. I would go see this doctor or a similar doctor. They'll kind of know what to do. You just describe your issues and they'll kind of know what to test you for. Don't bother with doctors who are like, who are anything but functional medicine doctors. Like, regular doctors, like general doctors or rheumatologists, are all just a massive waste of time for things like this. But yeah, that would
I
be
just
my
do it
advice.
for a few months, like next 2-3 months, and then after I'm up to speed, I'm working remotely. So in order to improve the results of my game, is it fine to set up base in New York, or I should gradually do that first? Set up in
It
a
doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah, New York will be probably easier than San Francisco, but it does. That's not the big thing here. You can be in San Francisco and still get results.
I would say if you want to have a mental health break, do not go to New York, dude.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
place is fucking. That
Go
is
to-
like
go
the
to
most
Texas or
dystopian.
Go to Florida. Like, I would personally never want to live in New York.
Yeah,
So
my
real,
therapist keeps asking me to come to Miami, but Austin doesn't like Miami, so I'm like, I don't know where
Miami
to
is
go.
Dude.
awesome. Austin was
Miami's
just,
great. Everyone should move to Miami.
Austin was just tired because there's not enough homosexual events here. He felt left out.
someone's
So
complaining.
No one cares about my rant against Miami, so I'm gonna save it.
Miami's, I love Miami.
So
Yeah,
which
let's
place
pretend
do you
Miami's awesome. It's great.
It is.
Okay.
Like, I love it. Perfect weather, super hottest girls, good food. Like, yeah, ocean.
Yep,
No complaints.
I stand by all of that.
Okay.
Everyone go to Miami and game in Miami.
And then, okay, I'll probably use ChatGPT to build myself a routine of working out, cooking food, and using 2 hours every day for pickup. Because I am
Don't
able
be-
to.
don't be cheap.
Oh, I was gonna bring this up. So
fitness.
you're asking where to go. So there's a couple things. Like, if I was in your situation, I would choose between Europe and Latin America. Latin America, the setup is just so good, dude. You have a fucking cleaner for like super cheap, cleans your whole place for like $20. You can get a personal trainer for super cheap. You can get like massages every day. You can get chiropractor. You can get like Spanish lessons. You can get like literally everything straight to your house, and you don't have to really think about anything. You could be somewhere like really nice, good view, everything set up, super cheap. No, don't have to worry about finances. Literally just live like a king. Have like people come to your house and teach you and take care of you, and like doctor visits straight to the house, like everything.
So how about
that's
Austin? I create like a couple of draft plans and set up a call with you before you start mentorship. Because
Sure.
in order to reach to mentorship, I have to build myself, and I need decision making, which I don't want to do trial and error on.
I'm also
ChatGPT.
curious, since boot camp, how many girls did you experience lovely, intimate times with?
15, I guess.
15. Nice.
All right, so let's.
I
get to-
also, okay, I want to say one other thing is he mentioned that game is therapeutic, and I 100% agree. And I actually went to an event filled with like PhDs in psychology, and I explained to them like even how my course works and stuff like that. And they're like, no, this is great. This is literally like 90% of what I have is already kind of in alignment with like essentially the cutting edge science on this shit. And like what most people do when they feel anxiety, and I'm not saying this is you, but most people listening to this, they feel anxiety and then they do experiential avoidance, which means they basically say, oh, I feel anxiety in those situations, so I'm not going to put myself in that situation.
But we are told in that 3 second rule, right? You are getting anxiety, ignore the anxiety approach anyway. So it's like, where do you draw the line? Where to process
That is kind of actually true. So the thing is, it's more of like a process. So there are these like factors, these like emotional patterns that you have that make you inflexible emotionally and cognitively. So like the top two are the top two techniques are basically diffusion and acceptance. So diffusion, a lot of people go, they don't say I'm feeling anxious or I'm experiencing anxiety. They say I'm an anxious person. So they identify with these things. I'm a depressed person, or I have depression, as opposed
Also,
to
we do have to move on. But
okay.
Real quick question for Rahul. Wait, don't go anywhere yet. As you know, my channel has been demonetized. You work at Google. Google owns YouTube. Could you do me a favor and submit an internal request? If you get my channel monetized, I will give you all the free coaching in the world for the rest of your life.
Okay,
you can come on every week to this, and this will just be a Rahul coaching session. Okay, by 3 coaches.
A couple of my friends moved to YouTube, so I'll ask them to put in a case for you. But just give me 1 month. I'm still laid off, and my manager is working to get me back in the system, so I don't have access to my team.
Okay.
And Rahul, one last thing.
Email. Yeah.
One last thing. Congrats on the lay the other night. The 85% is probably complete bullshit, so don't worry about the whoop thing there. And a couple of guys mentioned in the chat, which I agree with, which is getting some reduction of accent classes will probably go a real long way if you are gaming in America. If you head over to Poland or some shit, no one gives a fuck. You're an exotic Indian man, okay? You're high tier fucking
accent classes, but then this
my man. All right, good shit. All right, hope you enjoyed the medical and travel advice. We'll see you next week once you get the channel demonetized.
Send me an email and we'll start the communication.
Sure. Thanks, Alex. Thank you.
This was a very multi-purposed.
Dude, I'll take any chance I can to fucking deal with my YouTube issues.
Yeah, I got you, bro. There you go.
All right. Yeah, it's crazy how much like certain little things can just fuck you up. I heard there's a lot of people in the chat saying that like, oh, but I'm on finasteride. Yeah, like most people who take finasteride are fine, but he's not alone. There's a whole bunch of people, smaller percentage.
My dick stopped working completely. Okay. I mean, completely. I had a girl that I'd been seeing for like 2 years and never once had I got too hard in front of her all the time. And bro, I'm there beating away my dick. This thing's not fucking responding. Finasteride fucked my. So once I got off it was fine. But yeah, it's like a 1-2% or something crazy. But I mean, yeah, most people take it. It's fine. Some people take it, and some shitty things happen. So careful.
I think it's much higher than 1 or 2%, just from kind of my research. I think
maybe
closer to 20%. But all right, cool. Let's bring on the next person. I hope he emails me. All right, James. Hello.
Yo, what's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Hear you great.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Bad.
Do you work at Google also?
I bet.
Hell,
he works at YouTube.
You work at Google?
He works at YouTube.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead, James.
All right. So I guess it's primarily for you, Austen. So I do a lot of like social circle stuff, like doing intramural sports and like dancing. So how do you show intent for those like social circle situations?
All right, I'll just tell you what I did the other night because it worked.
Yeah.
So basically, when I'm like, dude, this girl was about to like catch this disc in the end zone. Like it was such a great throw, but I'm pretty good too. So I was kind of poaching her, and then like she was about to catch it, and then I just got a D on her, and I speak a little Spanish too. So I was like, oh, lo siento, qué pena. Just like being a little bit teasing, right? Teasing, and then we're laughing, etc. I kept just like bantering with her a bit, touching base here and there. And then at certain points, like I shook her hand and she kind of like held onto my hand. So I noticed that she was kind of like feeling the vibe. Afterward, I grabbed her Instagram and just chatted a bit and, just did like basic just social game, pretty light. I call it invisible game, right? It's like when you're signaling intent, but it's not like super obvious and it's not super like, oh damn, you're super hot, you're super cute, right? I'm just like it's coming through my sub-communications. Right? So I'm just speaking a little bit deeper, a little bit lower, you know, looking at her, smiling a bit more, spending a little bit more time with her, and then, yeah.
But
set
this
up a
was like
date.
but she was like in the opposite team though, right? So
Yeah.
was this after you guys high five, you know, okay, good game, good game. and
We
then
we
you-
spend some time on the sideline when we take breaks and stuff.
yeah.
So like whenever there's a substitution, just hang out on the sideline.
Okay.
Can you repeat your
James,
question again,
James, what type of social circle are you running, my man? Give us some insight into what you're setting up, and then we can give you a little bit of hand about how to escalate on these goals. Because it's going to depend. If you're just hosting parties with a bunch of like girls coming in, you can be a little bit more free here. But if there's like the same chess club or something every weekend with the same group, it's going to be a run club or some shit. So yeah, hit us up. What social circle you're creating? How you got this funnel going?
Yeah, it's like 3 different things. So one's like I go to like line dance classes like every week. So lots of like country enthusiast type people, you know. And 2 others like a kickball and like pickleball league. Yeah.
Okay, so there's just a bunch of sporting events, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. So here you could be a little bit more liberal and how direct you want to be, because a lot of these girls, especially if they're just teams running through, you're probably not going to see them again. If it's your own team, it's the same girls every single week, that you're going to have to slow play a little bit. Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna
Well, no, you can. You're just going to have to slow play and come off as the fuck boy. I like how you came on this call. You're like, what's up, boys? But if you are known as the fuck boy and the girls know you're flirting with a bunch of other girls on the other team and shit, they're going to be much more okay with you fucking different girls in your team and their team. And they'll probably even help you out with that. Just don't come off as like the relationship guy, because then you're fucked in a social circle situation. And then if you're enjoying this and having good experience with it, I'd be trying to set up my own circles where you can actually build women into it. And so you have some authority there. Because right now you don't really. You're going to have to try build that as being like the cool guy in your team, essentially. Whereas if you're creating your own tournaments, for example, you do like a one-day event, it's going to be a little bit easier to actually have some status there, some authority there. So it's something to think about.
Okay, for sure. I'll think about that. Typically on the weekends, I just like hang out with my friends and, you know, we go out to like bars and like concerts and stuff. So, you know, we just keep it pretty.
Yeah, organize something with your friends, man. That's cool. Like, dude, once a fortnight, once a month, do an event with all your mates. Be like, all right, let's get as many girls to this fucking thing as possible. So, dude, even if like pickleball's your thing, you could organize like a pickleball competition or something and just make it fun. Like, there's an event one of my friend runs here in Sydney, which is, I forget what it's called, but it's like a tennis event where they have like a DJ set up, they've got drinks, and you go in there with a partner and they make it like you have to have the opposite sex partner and you come in. And so it's just a fucking fun time. I got another mate that runs like Survivor weekend things away. And so, yeah, if pickleball's your thing, just run a tournament. You could help your buddies out with it and you'll have a lot of authority and status there.
And to add on to that, get video and photo content of the event, because it helps you throw the next one. And like pretty much any first time you do any kind of event, it's going to be like, okay. And then just take photos and videos. And the next time is usually like much better. And then people start going, oh, are you going to do that again? Are you going to do that again? And then it just builds this network. I think most people don't even get past like the first step, right? Which is like just doing it your first time and accepting the fact that it's not going to be like fucking, you know, like a damn Bulgarian party. And then like over time, just build it up.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of like stuff, a lot of work to like get it up started. To be frank with you, I don't know if I'll like if I have the like time and resources.
Well,
like,
you don't have to do it all. Like you
Yeah.
can have, like Marcus was saying, use your friends, and your friends could be social connector people, which have like, you know, a photographer, a promoter, a hot girl who knows tons of other girls. Like they want, think about what's value for them. Like value for promoters, he needs a venue to bring girls. Value for a rich guy is he wants hot girls around him, right? But he's working all the time. He's good with money, but he needs girls. So and then you have value because you're putting all the pieces together. But it's more than just like me just saying that. It obviously goes a bit deeper, but
Yeah, thanks for the example. All right, appreciate it, guys.
All right,
Yep.
buddy. Take it easy.
Bye.
oh, dude, I can't wait to start throwing some penthouse parties again, baby.
All right, we got Adam22 on the stream. Good stuff.
Hey, welcome.
Yo, first one of us
So
to
where was
have a
Sartain when
harem
you needed
of
him? I thought
5
that
girls.
Sartain would have been perfect for that dude.
For
You
what?
want to know? I missed his question. It was about running.
No, we
events.
had a huge fight with Sartain, and there's a lot of beef. So yeah, he hasn't been on recently.
Yeah, and dude, he keeps pussing out. We all offered to like fight him like one after the other.
Yeah,
but
I
he
told
pussied
him,
out
me and you
super.
boxing ring next weekend, and he was scared, bro. He ran away, so I don't know. So
Yeah, I told him
maybe he'll be
BJJ,
next
but
week.
he's like, dude, BJJ is kind of gay. You're just like holding another man, and I'm like, whatever, bro.
You were blowing on the
Bro,
mic when we
we
started,
can
so
just do DJs. I mean, yeah, whatever. Same
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Yeah, leave out one of the J's. But dude,
apparently
first one of
Sartain's
us to
gay
have
or
a
something, I don't
5-girl
know.
orgy wins like 10K. Do you want to do that? No, 5-girl
What?
harem. 5-girl harem.
Who's
So,
putting
like,
up the money?
Consistently dating for at least 1 month.
That's a little too much work, in my opinion. I don't like to go above 3 or 4.
You don't need to do separate dates though. You just do group dates together.
Yeah. I've had a few threesomes, but I've never done like more than one other girl at a time.
Yeah, most of my threesomes would just been like 2 other guys, like me and 2 guys.
Makes sense. Scotty, welcome, bro.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, Marcus. How you
Austin
been?
and
to see you
2
too, bro.
guys. There's no girl involved.
It's way easier, dude. Like when people said that threesomes were easier, I didn't believe them. But then, dude, yeah.
Dude, you know what's fucking? This just came up in my mind. Have you guys know More Plates, More Dates, right?
Yeah, bro.
Scotty, you know. So they have a subreddit. So I went in that subreddit and I thought like, hey, this might be a good place to share my content. And dude, like some of the top posts are like, it's a lot easier to get laid if you're gay. So I decided to be gay. What do you guys think about that?
True. Yeah,
Like,
bro. It's so much easier. These guys on Grindr and shit. Damn, fuck Tinder.
The post, but it wasn't just like one
Hack.
person. It was like I kept sawing this over and over again. I made my post, and literally like there's a bunch of comments like, "Bro, it's just easier to be gay." I was like, "Is this what-"
Surely they're trolling, right? Surely this is a
No,
troll.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Somehow I don't think gay's a choice though. I don't know if you could just be gay. I don't know if that's a thing.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I tried to. My dad sent me to gay conversion
I tried to be
therapy.
gay.
Like, he tried to make me ungay at this Christian camp, and it never worked. So I tried to
but
play the gay
nowadays,
away.
I think if you said you can choose to be gay, a lot of people would argue. Like there would be 90% of people saying yes, you can choose to be gay, but I don't think you can. But a lot of
I think
people,
there'd be a lot
researched-
more gay in souls if you could choose to be gay, to be fair.
yeah.
There's an evolutionary purpose for being gay, and it's that you take after different aspects of like a tribe or a group that otherwise you wouldn't if you were like in a heterosexual relationship. Something like this.
Whatever helps you.
See, we do need you, Austin.
All right,
Yeah.
let's
Dude, it's good to be needed, you know?
Abhishek.
Yo, while we got
All
shitting
All right,
on
2
New
fingers
York,
up.
man. New York is the
Abhishek,
best
if you're
city.
real. All right.
Abhishek, pull out your dick if you're real, bro.
No,
Oh,
please.
shit, it's too big for the camera.
Okay, that's the problem. Fair call.
How you
Yeah,
guys
my
doing?
internet will start lagging if you pull that.
Homie's
thing
been
out.
joking.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a
He's
real
fluffed
comment.
up, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's
Yeah.
up, Abby?
What's up? How's it going?
What's up, brother?
Chilling. Do you work at Google too?
I don't, dude. I wish I worked at Google, but
All
I
right,
work
let's
at
kick him.
Pfizer.
All right, who's next? Can we bring on?
Nah, man. Yeah. First of all, I want to thank Markus for all the advice and like the mastermind, dude. It helps a lot, and I've been fucking killing it because of that.
Cheers, man.
Still got
Love
the
you
guns,
too.
bro.
Okay.
Absolutely. I had a question though. This question, I think I can be better at vibing when I like open a set with girls, maybe like a group of girls. I'm not so smooth at vibing. I want to get better at that. So any tips for that would be helpful.
You want to get better at wiping?
At vibing.
I'm joking. I'm just fucking with you, bro.
He's struggling with wiping his ass. Okay, it's a fucking process, man. Like, you know, it's like, how far in do you go? Is that gay if you go, like, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I can go if no one wants to answer.
yeah, go ahead.
Vibing. I think this is in stages, right? Like, obviously, you start out and it's like, yo, I need some training wheels here. I need a way to actually develop my game. So you get a bit of a structure. You might even have some lines prepared or some conversational topics prepared. Like, I'll get into like what she does for work, for example, and then I'll DHB that. I think over time, you learn to become a little bit more present. So I always think about this. I don't know if you heard me speak about it, but like plan versus presence. So for some guys, they're way too plan orientated. These are the engineers, they're in their head and they're like, okay, I must do A, B, like mystery method type shit. I'm in A3 or something. And then you actually look at their game and you're like, you're not smiling. You're not actually present with the girl. You're just in your head. And then there's the fucking presence guys, which are like, just be honest and just go and vibe with the girl and just feel her energy. And then you look at these interactions and the guys are just talking about to the girl how nervous they feel or how they want to check a shit later. And it never leads anywhere. They're just sitting there on the date for 5 hours and they're like, yo, Marcus, so my 5-hour date didn't work out. And you're like, what the fuck? You're doing on a date for 5 hours, right? Yeah. So you just need to find the balance. If you're still a little bit plan orientated, a part of this is going to be practice to become a little bit more present. You'll be surprised. You probably have the structure more internalized than you realize. So I would even encourage you, do some sets this week where it's literally, fuck it. I'm not going to run my structure. I'm not going to run the things that I know that work. I'm just going to experiment a little bit. What if I just go up and try a new opener? Like literally go up to the girl, say, hey, I have a very important question for you. And then just say whatever the fuck comes to your mind. This practice of being a little bit more spontaneous and a little bit more present will bring you on that spectrum a little bit more to the present side of things. And you'll feel like you vibe a little bit more, you listen to the girl a little bit more, and you're less self-orientated about what to say next. So that's probably the stage you're at, and I encourage you to do a bit more of that, my man.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll go off of that. He said less self-focus on yourself, and that is literally like the key of the vibe phase of game. Is you're focused on the emotional experience of the other person. So I call this giving value. And you're basically giving value just means like, what is it really? Like, can anyone define what giving value is?
It's like making them laugh, kind of like having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's basically like your intent is to raise the emotional vibe of the interaction. So you're giving energy, you're projecting your voice, you're cracking jokes, you're just kind of vibing off of the emotions that you're getting, right? Mm-hmm. And it's less like the desensitization phase of game is like all about, oh shit, I have to go up and I have to approach and I have to get used to this so that my personality can come out. It's more about trusting yourself and letting things come to you, letting the flow come to you, giving value, self-amusing, and obviously just like letting yourself talk. Like most people, they have this bar of like what's good enough to say, and they have it so high so that nothing comes out. Whereas the best thing to do is drop the bar a lot so that basically anything is good enough because you're talking about it. And if you fuck up, you just calibrate, right? Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, and change the subject. Okay. And one other thing I would give you is you should have this default love of women behind everything that you do. So like when women again interact with me, they're feeling like this, like I literally genuinely love giving girls a great time. Like I like getting girls off in the bedroom. I like, showing girls. It's almost like I'm their father and I'm like showing them a cool thing, but I also get to fuck them. It's like I show them a great time. Here's how you ride a dick. And then, but all throughout that is embedded this intent of like, I want her to have a great time and I deeply love women. The number one thing can fuck up your vibe is like watching tons of red pill content that's like, just subtly embeds this like women are dangerous, they're scary, they're gonna fuck up your life, like women are bad, they're destroying society. Like you want to remove all that shit and develop this love of women.
I see. Okay.
The other thing I would say is a lot of people when they start on the desensitization phase, they're just doing a couple approaches, and in between their approaches there's like 15 minutes. When you're going out, there should be some momentum, right? So do some warm-ups, get your voice moving, start meeting some guys, start meeting some girls, talk to a bunch of people in the venue, and then you start to like feel like the venue or the wherever you're day gaming is like this fun place where you know a lot of people and you're kind of part of the tribe. And that also is something that subconsciously lowers the barrier, and you feel more comfortable and your natural personality comes out because everyone has a cool aspect of them that they can share with the world. The problem is most people, they repress that or they cover it up or they never get to the point where that comes out without like a sufficient amount of alcohol, which is super, super trans. Alcohol is not gay, it's trans because alcohol has it decreases your testosterone, especially IPAs. They have the most estrogenic compound ever discovered by science. It's called, someone researched this. Someone posted in the chat, PN8, 8PN. and it basically suppresses your it makes you super estrogenic, and it's actually a component that they use in breast enlargement pills. Anyway, we're getting off track.
Very
But
fun fact.
Yeah, and I feel you. Whenever I am like with my group and like I'm just feeling it, just having fun, the conversations like start like very free flowing, and that helps a lot actually, as you said. But sometimes like when I'm doing it by myself, kind of like stiff. I'm like stiff sometimes, and like just be very scripty.
So let me talk on this, because the other thing is, it's not just you go out and game and everything works out the way you want it to work out. There's a process happening in your mind after an approach, and it's that self-reflection part of it that can either fuck you up or make your night amazing. So if I do an approach, it doesn't go well, I don't interpret it as like I'm a piece of shit, no one likes me, like this isn't gonna work. Can I do this? I don't know. I interpret it like, oh, she just wasn't feeling it. That's okay. There's a lot of other girls here, and that hurt. What she said kind of hurt, and it's okay, right? I can move on. I can still take action despite that, right? So the number one mindset I would give you actually for the vibe phase is however I feel right now is good enough, right? So if by accepting the emotions that come up for you after a rejection, after a good approach, whatever, just you being by yourself, by accepting those emotions and taking action regardless is the best way to go about it. It's like, it's okay if I feel a little bit anxious. It's okay if I'm a little out of it. It's okay if I'm a little tired. And if you just take right action, you'll notice that zone, that state sneaks up on you, and you end up getting to this like awesome flow state where you're almost like taking shrooms and you get like this psychedelic trip. Whoop.
Yeah, actually.
Anyway, I've been ranting too long. Someone else go.
Yo, I would say
I
like
did
honestly,
take Molly this weekend. That was good.
You're obviously at the beginning stage where you're just way too attached to the outcome, and when you go out, you're kind of in this like Sarge state where I'm going out to Sarge, and if I don't get a number or if I don't get this, I'm going to be upset like automatically. So you're kind of in a lose-lose situation. So the only thing that I really did to counter that really was just, I'm like, yo, I'm not spreading enough positivity in the environment that I'm going to. I'm just seeking a specific result, and that's it. So you walk around a mall just looking for your ideal girl, and it's just like you're bound to get frustrated. So it's like, once I started incorporating the other people in the environment, the security guard, this guy, that guy, just making other people laugh, you just kind of integrate yourself nice and easy into your flow of the day. And you're just like, you naturally become less attached to the outcome at that point. That's kind of like what I still do it to this day. I don't think that ever goes away. Like, I don't know, you can minimize it, but that's the best way to minimize it. Because you'd like to get laid, but you can't just, when your mind is just in tunnel vision, like, and you're blind to everybody else in your environment. It's just, I don't know, you're setting yourself up for failure and disaster.
Yeah, when you're like not vibing in the moment, like not just feeling it and enjoying it.
Because what did you just say? You said, oh, I feel good when I'm vibing with my boys and blah, blah, blah. You're not really attached to a specific outcome, so it's easy. Therefore, like, or even the kid in high school who was always getting laid or whatever, he didn't even know anything about game, but everybody gravitated towards him because he was just chilling. He was a cool guy, so befriend these people around you, smile at them, it just makes things a little bit easier.
That's true. I'm going to start doing that. Yeah. That's great advice, man. Yeah. Thanks.
I feel like you guys covered it. I don't really have that much to add.
Yeah, a couple other random things you can try. Listen to some stand-up comedy and meditate. Like, I found those two things fucking... It's so easy to do, too. Like, you're like, I'm going to go out. Let me just meditate 10 minutes. You meditate, you go out. You have so much more presence. One other thing we didn't cover is being able to tap into other people's emotional experiences. And that there's a really good guided meditation I have in my course, but I think that you could probably find a similar one on Insight Timer, the app. And basically what it is like, get with it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl, whatever, but you just look into someone's eye and you basically go through all these different emotions together. Like, it's describing, like, see if you can see their pain, see if you can see the happy moments of their life. And when you tune into that, you tune into this like hyper empathy where you can really feel what the person's going on, what's going on in them across from you, right? And when you're talking to girls, game isn't just like, do this and then do this. It's like, it's all dynamic and contextual based on how the girl responds, the environment, like what's going on, what just happened. So by tapping into that, it allows you to be more flexible in your approaches and kind of adapt to every girl that you talk to. So I'd say, empathy and your ability to like understand someone else's subjective emotional experience across from you is super, super key to the vibe phase.
Actually, yeah, that should help a lot because understanding what actually the girl's head's at, what she's thinking right now, or like what kind of girl person she is, or he or she. That
I'm going
should
to cut you off. One other thing everyone else should be doing, speak
Yeah.
louder. Like, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
like one thing that'll make you like just stand out a little bit more and project more energy is just speaking louder. Most people, they go up there like a
It's just
hit
really
dog.
tough
They're
in
just
night
like,
game though.
hey,
Like in clubs, it's so fucking
hi.
tough.
Yeah, look at people. I don't know if you live in America, but if you look
Yeah.
around America, like people going to apartment buildings and stuff, they all just look like they just got like, I don't know, like raped in the ass or something. They're just
Yeah, I
like,
know. That
oh,
everyone's
if you could just like talk loud throughout society, look people in the ey. Hey, bro, how's your day going? You're like top 5%. Most people look like they're about to
why
like
are you
end their
yelling in
lives.
the elevator, dude?
Hey, what's going on? What floor are you going to, bro?
So you
So
should
that's
set the
what-
bar extremely low. Like if you can go every single day with having a positive conversation with somebody, like you're headed in the right direction. Just make sure you have a positive conversation with 3 people per day, and that's like
And then just
that's
stack it.
just keep growing upon that.
Gotcha. Yeah, take it step by step.
Alrighty.
Cool. All right.
Enjoy the wiping, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Take it easy.
Can't wait
Love you,
for
man.
your
See ya.
vibe to.
We actually
increase.
have quite a few people backstage. Let's do like 5 minutes per person so we can wrap up in maybe like 15, 20 minutes.
Because Adam 22 joined. That's why.
Yeah, you got all your fans.
Yo, Scotty, would you say you're default like a pretty anxious person? Like, did you have high anxiety in the past? Just curious.
Yeah, for sure. I have. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I think that's
Augustine.
one of the biggest correlations. People have a lot of tattoos. I think it's high anxiety.
Yeah, I
One thing I've
basically I've got all my tattoos from 21 all the way to 24, and I was done. It was like every single weekend, drinking, tattoos, drinking. It was like real quick. It wasn't over a long period of time. It
All right,
was
guys,
more.
wait, hang on a second. Augustine, you have to turn your camera on for me to bring you on. So I need to see your face so I know you're a real person. Too many trolls. All right, we're gonna just quickly skip
Boom.
to Drake. Hello.
From the 6, Drake. The 6 god.
Hey, I wasn't expecting to get on. My bad.
I actually accidentally clicked on you, but since you're here, let's just get into it.
Okay. Shoot.
First question: do you work at Google?
I
Second
wish,
question:
man.
do you work at YouTube?
I would hook you up. So last time when you reviewed me, you said to be more like grounded, and man,
Are we talking about speed date? A speed date?
yeah, about speed dating, and I just wanted to like understand what you meant exactly by that, like grounded. And when you say that, because you say that word a lot, and if you could just expound on it more.
Yeah, sure. So, like, let me think of a good way to kind of communicate this. So, like, you go to a bar, right? And sometimes, do you ever like people watch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, do you ever see like guys? Sometimes they're post-military or whatever. Not necessarily, but they're just very like. It looks like they're just like super calm. Like they're just like super, just like. I don't know how to describe it. Like it just looks like they know how to handle shit. Like this person just looks like super like in control of life. They're just like super calm, super chill. Like they're not like getting frazzled at all. Like it seems like nothing really affects them, right? That's basically kind of what I'm getting at. Is you want to just be like in part calm, but calm does not mean like lacking passion, but just like generally pretty chill. And like you don't let like external things like really affect your state of mind. So for example, a girl starts giving you a shit test, it doesn't affect you at all. You kind of have a shit eating grin and just stay equally as calm. It doesn't affect your state. Or let's say her friend comes over and starts yelling at you for whatever reason, it doesn't affect you at all, right? That's what I mean by grounded. It's like the girls are typically, not all, but the vast majority of girls, they're typically very affected by their surroundings, right? So even with like my girlfriend, who I think is like pretty confident, like if there's like we're out at a bar and there's something that happened, like it affects her state. I noticed a lot. Versus like as a guy, if you want to be attracted to a woman, you have to be the opposite of that. Like just like nothing really phases you, right? it doesn't mean that you don't engage with the outside world or that you're like super stoic. It's not necessarily the same thing as being stoic. It's just like nothing really frazzles you, nothing really affects your emotional state. Like, do you see what I mean now? Or
Is it kind of like a I don't give a fuck attitude, or what do you mean?
no, that wouldn't be the same thing. Although
I think Alex kind of hinted at this. I think it's really easy.
Good. I don't give a fuck attitude would be good, but it's not necessarily the same thing. It's just that, yeah, just like nothing. I mean, like I would say, like watch some infield of anyone on this panel, Marcus, me, Austen, Scotty. You can see, like, especially the ones where it looks like it's chaotic, where the girls are giving a shit. You'll see that it really doesn't like really affect us at all. Like, I just like stay calm under basically all external circumstances, and that's kind of what you want. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's kind of easy to understand from the opposite, which the opposite of groundedness would be like reactivity. So if a girl says something and you react super intensely, if you're constantly scanning around your environment, if you're like, you're just kind of jumpy and like in effect of what she's doing as opposed to at the cause. And, there's a ton of ways to practice this. And I think honestly, most of it just kind of comes like without conscious thought. But kind of lost my train of thought. But you're staying, like Alex said, you're staying grounded. It's a great example. You ever heard of like Stonewall Jackson? So this is like Civil War. There's like cannonballs blowing up next to him. He's just like chilling on his horse, So it's just like being pretty unaffected emotionally by what's happening. And I think part of that is knowing who you are and knowing your intentions. You don't kind of like let other people define you or your worth. So like if a girl says something like, "Oh, your fucking shirt's messed up," you're not like, "Oh, sorry, it needs to be perfect. I fucked up. I'm so sorry. Is it still good enough? Like, am I good enough?" So ultimately, I think it does kind of come from a place of self-esteem, self-worth, but it also comes to like from desensitization to the environment that you're in and the interactions that you've been in. Like if you've done a ton of different interactions and you know generally how things go, you don't like flip out so much. And you know what the thing they say about shit tests, like that literally one of the keys of passing a shit test is that you're unreactive to it. Like a girl says like, fucking, I don't know, give me a shit test. Like, do you say that to all the girls and you're like, fucking hell yeah, baby?
How much dick did you suck at Ultimate Frisbee last week?
I'm not sucking your dick tonight.
I lost count, right? So if you're just like unreactive to shit tests, you're unreactive to stuff like that, it ultimately might actually stem from high status, because people in a high status position, or if you feel high status in an environment, you don't defer to others. They are more likely to defer to you. The cool thing with game is you can kind of proactively set that frame of like, I'm the leader, I'm the high status person in this environment. I'm the big dick gorilla here. What's up?
I think it comes from your inner game though, not so much external things. I would say like here's an example. Like you have a date with a girl at a bar and you guys get there, right? You meet there and they're like, "Hey, we're full. We're not going to let you in." And the girl looks at you like, "Really? This is where you want to meet up?" Right? Like, well, what would a lot of guys do? They'd be like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry. I didn't know." Like, "Oh fuck." Right? But
okay.
If you're grounded, you're just going to be like, I guess they're too cool for us. Anyway, let's go to this place, right? So you see, like you can deal with something in a very frazzled way, or you can just be very calm. Like think the opposite of Myron Gaines. Like he's super emotional. Like every time a girl says something, he loses his mind. Whereas I think a good example of someone very grounded is Mike Rashid. I don't know if you know who he is, but like there's an interesting video where someone at the gym like basically tries making fun of him, and you can just see how he handles it in such a grounded way. You're not getting angry, you're not getting emotional, you're just very calm and just unaffected. Like, yeah, someone gave the example in the chat, like James Bond. Like, can you imagine James Bond? There's a scene in the Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, where basically that chick Vesper or whatever, she's having like she just saw like someone die, and she's just like having a meltdown, and James is just like so unaffected, right? And yeah, I think that kind of quality is very attractive.
I think it also could be there's a downside to that when you tell beginners don't be affected. That's like the generic advice. It's like don't be affected by anything, be stoic, don't do anything. it's like when you tell beginners that, they kind of like that. They think that means like don't do anything, don't do this, and it's like more inaction to me. Sometimes it's like you're supposed to be in a place where you do what you want when you want. You could still like be confrontational to somebody, but in a very controlled manner. You know what I mean?
But that would still be being grounded. Like that would be a misinterpretation.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's they misinterpret stuff like, oh, just because it's so everybody says that. Don't be affected. Don't be affected by
that's
anything.
everything a game. If you take anything a game to like the extreme, it's usually bad.
Hey Drake, you still there, bro?
Please don't whip it out, Drake.
Oh yeah, bro.
Sorry.
I'm thinking back to your.
I'll show you guys grounded. I don't give a fuck. Your channel just got wiped out, homie. I don't give a shit. I'm grounded.
Drake, I'm thinking back to your date. You were very like giggly on that date, right? You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay. Where do you think that giggliness came from? Why do you think you were giggly?
Yo, Drake, do not whip it out, bro. I know that dildo got you excited, but
oh, man. What's happening, Drake?
Could also come from lack of experience, right?
There you are.
Feeling a little bit nervous.
Why do you think you were giggly? Bro, what the fuck are you doing, Drake?
Sorry about that, guys. I can't hear anything.
All right, you there? Can you hear me?
Just come back when you've. Well, actually, I think we've already answered everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna add on to that, right? You want to be like comfortable under tension, and I feel like the thing that made you look ungrounded mostly was a lot of like the giggly behavior, and so I would question where that comes from. Obviously, there's a quick fix, which is try to reduce the giggliness, right? Like be a little bit more serious on the date or when you're in front of a girl. Usually the giggliness comes from that tension that gets created, and you might have some negative self-belief there, but usually a lot of guys like fill the space and tension or the awkward silence or the uncomfortability of knowing what to do with giggliness. So easy quick fix is to reduce that, but then secondly, figure out where that comes from and try sort out the cause of that. But if you do that, you'll appear way more grounded.
Yeah. All right, cool, man.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thanks for
Cheers,
coming
Drake, man.
All right, later, Drake.
All right. I see a few people here. Dave, can you put up 2 fingers so I know you're real? Okay, all right. Bringing you on. Hello.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
What's up, Davey?
What's going on?
How's it going? Yeah. So, I have 2 questions. So, like, one of my main sticking points from my field report back in the past was I always find it confusing to show my intent to women in the group, because I always found it easier to show intent to all the people in the group rather than just one person. But then it just wouldn't work out, and I wouldn't pull them or something.
Yeah, you have to. It has to be clear which girl you're interested in. It's a common mistake. Even intermediates make this mistake where they're doing group set and they don't isolate. They don't show intent. They just kind of shoot the shit with the whole group. But then it's not clear who they're interested in. So you definitely have to show intent. It doesn't have to be done in like a very obvious way, like, hey, I like you. You can be done in many different ways. One way that I like to do, and I know I've heard Markus talk about this, is I'll just talk about the girl while she's there. I'll be like, your friend is fucking cute. Where does she get her vibe? Where does she get her attitude from? Or something like that. Like something along the lines of that. But you do have to, or a simpler way to do it is just focus most of your time. Like you acknowledge the friends and you shoot the shit with them a little bit, but you focus most of the time talking to the girl that you're interested in. But you do have to show intent.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, I got a question for you, man. What are you worried will happen? Like, what's holding you back? Is it simply you're like, I don't know the right words to say to show intent to this girl? Or are you worried like, I don't want to show intent in front of the friends because the friends might judge me? Are you worried that the girl might feel like, fuck, I can't show intent back because all my friends are going to judge me? Like, what's actually holding you back from showing intent on the girl?
It's the third reason. So I think that the girl will be scared of showing her intent to me when she's with the group, because I have no problem showing intent in dates and when I'm one-on-one. Let's say I separate her away from her friends, but that's okay. But then sometimes it's very hard for me to separate her from her friends because I don't spend so much time with her friends.
All right, so you got some social intelligence here. Okay, this is good. This is a normal thing to feel. Okay, so one way Alex gave a great example. Okay, you can speak about it to the friends. Another way is just to treat her differently. So I have a video called like negative intent or some shit, right? So instead of just being like, I think you're hot, and all the friends are like, how are you gonna react to that? Is you can be like, oh, what was your name, Stacy? What was your name, Rebecca? Oh, that's a really nice name. Nice to meet you. What was your name? Okay, and you just like you fucking ignore the last girl. Sometimes I will even like shift my body and kind of like ignore a little bit. Sometimes I will give a shit. If you treat everyone else friendly and platonically, which is like the worst thing you usually do, right? Do all the shit we tell you not to do to all the friends. There's going to be a feeling of tension between you and the girl you're giving shit to. Now, sometimes from the outside, people are like, damn, Dave really hates Rebecca. Like, what's going on? And maybe Rebecca's like, does this guy not like me? But at least there's a treatment there that's a little bit different. It starts to differentiate her from the group. The minute she starts chasing, the minute you start getting compliance there, now you can be a little bit more forward and you can say the lines like Alex gave, which is like, hey, I like your friend's attitude. Damn. You can open up your body language to her a little bit more. So you're right here. Okay. You have the right social intuition to not just be like super direct in front of all her friends. But typically once you win the friends over, and then you show intent to the girl, she's going to feel less pressure. Because a lot of that pressure comes from, hang on, this is a random guy. All my friends fucking hate him. How am I meant to say that I like him now? But if you win over the friends platonically, now when you do show intent, she's going to be like, yeah, my friends love Dave. Of course, I have no problem showing this back a little bit. So, I think you'd be sweet. Just give it a go and you should be fine, man.
Yeah, I met my prior girlfriend from Cold Approach, and she was in a massive group set of like 10 people. So my general approach for group sets is I'll go in and I'll initially open the girl. I'll talk to her for like 10, 15, 20 seconds. Then I'll acknowledge the group. I'll shake everyone's hand. I'll make like a joke or two, get them laughing. And then I go right back to talking to the girl. And then once I build some sexual tension, then I isolate. And that's exactly what I did with my ex. And it worked quite well. So, yeah. But you said you had a second question?
Yeah. So I'm confused sometimes in what I want and the women I attract, because sometimes I attract the women that I don't really want to sleep with, but then she wants more of a relationship. But the women that I want to sleep with on the same night, I don't really like their personality enough to sleep with them in the same night. So I'm like confused. Like, what do I want? Should I go for a relationship, or should I just go for like sleeping with her that same night I meet her? And should I just be direct about it?
I think there's a problem with your paradigm. So here's how you do it: is first of all, you just look for girls that you find physically attractive. Any girl you find physically attractive, you sleep with those girls, and then after sex, if you realize that you actually like them, then you keep hanging out with them and potentially build a relationship. But in the early stages, like what I'm looking for is just, is this girl attractive? Do I find her attractive? And then after sex, then I start considering like, okay, does she have a good personality? Like, do I actually want to maybe have something more with her? Do you want to see her again? Or maybe I don't even want to see her again. Do you want to have a friends with benefits? Do I want to maybe date her? Right. But that comes later after sex. So it's not one or the other. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, sex is a key component, man. That's a huge, huge component.
So you're saying physically
dude, it
attraction?
feels so good, Dave. It's so good. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, dude, it's so awesome. Like you go play ultimate frisbee, and then afterwards you have a big black guy just have his way with you. Like,
so much fun. It's the best.
That frisbee, you just.
Alex, we're supposed to save that for our personal chat later.
Yeah, Dave, I agree with the guys here. You're not going to enjoy sex if you're worried if this girl has a good personality or is ready for a relationship and all this fucking shit, right? Like, that rules out quite a lot of women, okay? Like, if you look at the percentage of women that is going to be compatible for a relationship long term, that's really fucking tiny. But if you look at the women that are compatible with you having an amazing fucking night, that's quite a lot of women. So you're going to feel shitty after sex if you're looking at through, as Alex said, through the wrong paradigm. Enjoy having sex, and then after a few weeks of at least there's something more, at least a little bit more. And then after 6 months, a year, if you want to have an exclusive relationship or open, you can do that. But, bro, enjoy having sex, okay? Get out there, have some fun.
Yeah, everybody's kind of putting up a front initially anyway. So just, bang them as quickly as you can.
Yeah, it's a good point. You actually
Dave, I would also say put on some muscle
at that point.
Dave,
Yeah,
you should
sounds
pack on
good.
some muscle. Do a DEXA scan right now and then do like 6-12 months fitness and see how much muscle you gain.
Fair enough.
I
Thanks,
can't see
guys.
you, man. All right, bro.
All right,
Take
buddy.
care.
Take it easy.
And hopefully you don't wear that shirt gaming, please.
It is a bit wrinkly. All right, buddy.
Can we also usually write? This is the worst advice ever. I'd love he can jump on our panel and give some advice. Okay, I'd love to hear it.
Wait, why did we ban him?
I didn't ban anyone.
Oh, Austen?
I didn't ban it. Dave is literally right there.
No, not
Come
Dave.
back on.
The other guy, King Pigs.
King Pigs.
Pigs, yeah. It's someone banned
It
him.
wasn't me. I like the trolls. Okay, they're welcome here.
All right,
Yo.
Ali Biazar,
Yo.
it's time for your 5 minutes of F
King,
level fame.
I'll unban you later after this.
Yeah, I gotta take a shit real quick. I'm good.
What is this?
All right.
The Indian night?
Yeah, I'm Persian actually.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, what's up,
Like
guys?
the cat.
They're all the same. He doesn't do fucking Indian, Persian, Pakistani. They all look
Dude,
the
I
same.
picked up a Persian girl on Friday night.
Oh hell yeah.
She was very nice. Dude, I feel like Persians would make great wives because they age so gracefully. It's insane. Like, it might be like the slowest aging women on planet Earth. I don't know.
Do you know the most popular place in the world for anal sex? I believe is Iran. It's Persian people.
I would have
Yeah, I've heard
said
that.
Russia.
No, I believe it's last time I checked.
Yeah, my question was basically how can I kind of improve like inner game, specifically like feelings like I'm not kind of enough in terms of like approaching girls and just kind of like overall anxiousness and stuff.
Do you get that only with hot girls, or do you get that with like average or below average looking girls?
I think it's more likely with like more attractive women.
Yep. Okay. So it's not that you in general don't think you're good enough for girls. It's just you don't think you're good enough for the hot girls because you're putting them on a pedestal. So you're basically really idealizing, whatever the term is, their looks, right? But looks don't really looks are kind of part of a genetic lottery. I mean, sure, you work on it a little bit, but there's two ways to proceed here. The first way is just simply to just kind of like through willpower push through that, still approach the hot girl, still do good game. Once you hook up with a bunch of them, this feeling will go away. Like right now, if I wave a magic wand and for the next 30 days, every single day you fuck a 10, right? I guarantee you by day 15 or day 20, you're no longer going to feel like you're not good enough from them. So that's one, is just to use willpower to get into a place of abundance. The other is a more introspective way, and I think Austen can probably talk about that a bit more, but just realizing and reminding yourself that like, hey, like, why should I put this girl on a pedestal just because she won the genetic lottery? Like, does that really make her someone that should be afraid, someone I should pedestalize? Is there anyone on this planet that I should pedestalize in general? Like, yeah, so I would say that.
Yeah,
And there's a
one thing
huge-
I'd ask yourself is what would have to happen in order for you to be good enough for a particular girl? So put a girl in your mind that you felt like you weren't good enough for. Just like get a mental image of her. And what would have to happen in your life for you to feel and give yourself permission to be good enough to talk to that girl? So just yell some things out. Like, what would have to happen? Like, what rules would have to happen? Like, would you have to make a certain amount of money? Would you have to have approached a certain amount of girls? Would you have to have, hit a certain thing in the gym? Like, what are the things that come up for you?
I don't know. I'm kind of insecure about my looks, honestly, like my physique and everything, and just overall my looks in general, I guess.
Stand up and do a 360. No, you're fine, man. You're 5'10". You're
I'm
proportionate.
5'7".
Okay.
So your looks, basically you're defining it as this. The problem is this. There's girls that I want, but in order to be good enough to talk to them, I have to change my physical genetics. So you've basically, the way you've constructed it in your mind, whether intentionally or just through environmental factors, things that you've been hearing or whatever, is you're setting yourself up for an impossible situation, one that's going to give you a lot of like mental anguish. And like, it probably does hurt to feel like, man, I'm never going to be good enough for this girl. Because that's essentially the problem that's been phrased in your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to look at this from a different perspective?
Yeah.
So what if there are other things that make up being good enough? Like, you don't have any other hangups other than your looks, right?
I feel like my social skills could definitely use improvement too. I mean, like I
Uh-huh.
struggle with approaching women in general, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah. So what's the hardest part about that for you?
I don't like for some reason I feel like whenever I see women, I just feel like they kind of have like this kind of like shield to where like they don't want me to approach them. I don't know where I kind of get this from, but it's just this, I guess, belief I have or something.
So how many approaches have you done?
Wait, Ali, do you watch Black Pill videos?
Kind of. I sometimes watch your debates with Black.
That's where that
Yeah.
belief comes from. Yep.
Yeah.
Busted.
Yeah.
You guys got
Have
it.
you seen my video on
caught
destroying the
you.
black pill
We
with
caught
facts
you.
and logic?
I did. I saw your debate with wheat waffles.
So I did a follow-up video. It's called Destroying the Black Pill with Facts and Logic. If you want to know like the absolute truth, like the smartest people on earth that do science, hundreds of these people, thousands of these people in various fields have constructed like the body of science that we now use, and it makes airplanes fly. It makes us like understand how viruses work and stuff like that. All those fields of science disagree with the black pill. So the thing is, people interpret the black pill as like looks are important. No, everyone knows that looks are important, whether they play 30% role, whether they play a 50% role, people debate. But the roles for other things matter infinitely more. One of my best, I don't know if I put this in the video, but one of my favorite pieces of evidence of this is there's a guy, he has like the top fitness channel, Jeff Nippard. He did this, he like interviewed people on like how many sexual partners, I think it was a study, but it was like how many sexual partners you've had and how much you bench. So the people who benched like, 135 had an average of like 5 sexual partners in their life. 225 was like, 8. And then the next plate up was like 9, and the next one after that was like 10. So it's like, is the number one factor in how many girls you sleep with how much you can bench? Like, no, dude. Like, I'm sure Markus and Alex have both hit 10 in a week before. I've hit 8 in a week 3 times in my life. So what matters more is the strategy that you use. Do you know how to run Instagram ads for dating? Do you know how to do Instagram scrapers and automate DMing girls? Do you know how to cold approach effectively? Do you know how to set up social circle events? Does it kind of piss you off knowing that Justin Mark is like a 5'4" Indian and he's fucked like 500, 600 white girls? Like, there's elements that are more impactful for your dating results than just pure looks, although looks are important. It's like, I'm taking it contextual. It's like, it's all part of one cohesive whole. But like, I like, so your SMV times your game times your volume, anything times 0 is 0, right? If your looks are like, 0, actually there are exceptions, but if if you have 0 looks, like your looks are horrible, but your game is amazing and your volume is amazing, you're going to get like very little results. But if your looks are like okay, or even average, like, I don't know, do you think I'm an average looking guy?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Most people would say I'm like average, maybe above average, whatever. But the results I have are not because I'm average or above average. The average results of people that look like me is they fuck 6 girls in their lifetime, and most of them are like hideous, or not hideous, but like they're like average and they're like meh. But the reason why I've had disproportionate results is not because I'm some alpha Chad, Rizzler, Sigma male, hyper polyglot. It's because of the action that I take, right? I went out, every day for several years. I, not only do I know how to like do good text game, and I run like huge volume scraping Instagram, doing Instagram ads. I do Tinder. I meet girls in real life. I meet girls, like, I'm just like a vacuum cleaner, just sucking up leads constantly. So my volume and my game is such that, like, even if you call me like, I don't know, 6.57, whatever on looks, I can get a shit ton of results. And what you realize, you should start, not you should, but what I would do if I were you, I would start looking, first of all, get rid of all the black pill shit. It's just literally poison. It's not even fucking true, dude. I don't understand why people like things that aren't even fucking true. Just because they want to fuse
the
with
black
their
pill
ideas.
is exposed when you. It's like it's just another way to rationalize why somebody's not getting results. If you peel back,
I understand why the black pill is what it is now. It's a way to fuse with not feeling good enough, and exactly what Scotty said, to rationalize not taking action. So how many girls have you approached in the past month, Ali?
Like maybe 1 or 2.
How many black pill?
If your close rate is 10% and you approach 2 girls, you can expect to close 0.2, and you can't close less than 1 girl. So it's a volume issue. And the thing that fucks the reason why black pill sucks the most, not just that it fuses you with this retarded idea that isn't even true, it's that it prevents you from taking sufficient action to even get 1 result. Like, I don't know. For me, that it's so clear. But I've also had the privilege of coaching, almost 2,000 people, and I see people go through what you're going through and break through. But the biggest thing I would advocate you to do, get a book. Write this down. It's called "Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life." Go through. It's a book where you do exercises. So you write down stuff. You do like visualization, stuff like that. And that'll help you break free from that idea, because it sounds like you're ready to like break free from that idea and start getting some fucking pussy, right? And like, do you want some guy with like? You realize that most of these black pillars have like less than 10 lay count.
Most of them have less than 1 lay count.
So it's like, emulate and learn from people that have the results that you want. There's like, and one of the biggest things for me was seeing that there's like, how many billions of people in the world are average or below average in looks? It's like several billion people. If several billion people can figure out how to get some pussy, I think you can. And then it's just stacking things up. You're 5'7". Is that harder for you than some guy who's 6'2"? Yes, it's harder for you. So what? You have 2 choices. You can bitch about it. You can fuse with the idea like a butthurt little faggot, like most of the black pillars. Or you can say, you know what? What would be a cooler story? In my future self, how old are you going to be in 20 years?
47.
You're going to be 47,
Damn,
bro.
You look great.
When you're 47, do you want to look back and say, you know what? I'm glad that when I was 27, I grabbed life by the balls and I went after it and I embraced the process. I understood it was going to be a little bit crazy, a little bit hectic, but I ultimately got the wife that I want, or the kids that I want, or the experiences that I want. You're going to be so grateful for having taken that action. So it's basically up to you right now. At this point, you're 27. You're a good-looking guy. So what? You're a little bit below average. Start finding examples of.
Like, your height
I would
is
disagree with Austen that someone better looking makes them better.
Like, just keep in mind the benefits. Like, you have a good hairline, something I know a lot about.
Yeah, true.
You're able to grow out a good beard. Like, you're not below average looking. You're like a bit above average looking, I would say, all things considered.
Got a good smile. Got a good cock.
Ali, I wanted to. Ali, I think
all black belt videos.
Yeah, Ali, I really think you're just a couple of small tweaks in your mindset away from breaking out of this, because I don't think you have to think you're deserving of super hot, amazing women. I don't think you need to get there at all, because honestly, realistically, you're probably not, right? If you're only approached 2 girls in the last whatever and you don't have much experience with this and you don't have many skills, the truth is, I'm not going to lie to you, you don't deserve a 10 out of 10 that is like incredible, amazing, and he's like charismatic, smart. You don't, honestly, you're not going to get her. You don't deserve her. You're not at that point. All right. That's the truth. So what I want you to do is have some small tweaks. Now, you said you do deserve an average looking girl, right? You said that doesn't really, like, there's not really a problem there. So I think you should reinforce that mindset. Right now, the level I'm at, I deserve an average looking girl. So I'm going to approach some average looking girls. I'm going to fuck some average looking girls, and I'm going to get a really good time with it. Okay. Then from there, as you develop the skills and you start having that value gap shift. So Austen had a good point. Write down the things you need, right? Maybe you do need to learn some sexual competence. Maybe you do need to build your confidence. Like, whatever it is, you need to learn that. That's fine. So I'm not deserving just yet. But, okay, here's the kicker. At the same time, I said a 10 that is amazing, that's charismatic, that's cool. You probably deserve a 9 out of 10 that's a piece of shit. Okay, like you probably deserve a 9 out of 10 that like kicks kittens and like I don't know doesn't shave a pussy or something, right? Like you probably deserve that type of girl. And so now when you go out and you see the 9 out of 10, I want you to question, okay, do I deserve her? Maybe not if she's amazing and incredible, but I'll probably do if she's a piece of shit. So let's go find out if I'm where this girl is at. And suddenly you're gonna realize like, oh fuck, I shouldn't just look at a hot girl and count myself out. Okay, because trust me, I've slept with some fucking super hot girls that after like the 4th time of seeing her, I'm like, dude, I don't think I can do this anymore. Then there's another part of my mind that's like, bro, have you seen her body? You should see her another time. And then I do it and I fucking hate myself because I'm fucking this incredibly hot girl, but she's bad in bed and she's fucking annoying and boring and all this other shit. And after time, you realize like you go out to the club or you're into and you're like, yeah, looks are cool. And sometimes you'll fuck the 10 out of 10 that's a little boring and annoying. But for the most part, you just don't know. And so, Ali, what you'll find yourself start doing now is that you'll be fucking these 7s out of 10s. You'll be enjoying it. You'll be having fun. And then you'll start seeing a 9 out of 10. You're like, oh, give it a go. You'll go in and talk to it. Sometimes it'll go really well. Sometimes it won't. But now it's going to build up your confidence a little bit more. And then, honestly, in 2 years' time, you'll probably get to the point where you've built up your value, you've learnt the skills, and now these 9 out of 10s that are actually cool and interesting and don't, I don't know what I say, kick kittens, you'll be having a shot with them and you might be start going out with them. So for now, a small tweak. You don't have to be deserving, just a small tweak of understanding that principle, and it's going to help you get out there and do more than 2 approaches.
The biggest
and
thing
I think everyone that has gotten hot girls
videos. No more, not a single one more black girl video. Just no mas. It's it literally just fries your brain.
True.
I thought deserved was an interesting word. You're saying I deserve this type of girl, I deserve that type of girl. Because I mean, like technically, I don't really deserve anything, but I guess it's a privilege to be able to date women or something.
No,
there is a degree of entitlement that is helpful in game.
I mean, when I say deserve, I mean, depends how you're using the word. When I say deserve, it's like, which girl can I build attraction with is basically what I'm asking. Like, which girl am I compatible? Like, which girl here is going to actually show some interest in me back? Like, I think deserving might carry some more moral weight to it. You're right. I don't think anyone should deserve another girl or some shit. Like, I agree with that. When I say deserve, I'm just thinking, can I attract this girl? Right, is what I'm thinking here. Because as a human, I guess like you can start moralizing this a little bit deeper, and you could say like, no one should reject or accept me at any sort of level like that. But that's going a bit too deep. I'm just talking about what's going on in your mind, which is if I approach this girl, she's probably not going to show interest in me. Is probably what you mean when you say deserve.
Yeah, and if you get more frequency of those interactions with even average girls that are loving you, it kind of reinforces that belief that not only am I enough, but women love being around me. Like, it's one thing to say, women love me, but if a girl's sucking your dick, calling you daddy, it does it way more effectively and way deeper. And like when you go out to approach that girl that's like 0.5 points or like, let's say 1 degree hotter than you're usually used to, but you just had that experience, you're going to give yourself a little bit more permission. And that's how it was for me. It was like, I hooked up with some average girls at the start, and then that frequency of that led to me going, okay, well, I can get those girls. Let's see what's next, right? And then you start just like, it's always step by step. It's not like we're going to say these things and your brain's going to, and then that you're going to be pulling like 10s every night, right? It's that you take those step by step. You only need to get like 1% better, right? Every time you go out, just do like one thing better. And just stack those wins over time, and that ultimately is what's going to get you hotter girls, cooler girls, etc. And then ultimately, if you're talking about relationships, become the man that woman would want in a relationship, and kind of reverse engineer that.
Your dream girlfriend right now is not in your life because for some reason you're pedestalizing her, which you're dehumanizing that person. She wants the guy who doesn't give a fuck about. He's unfazed by her beauty. And she's like, oh, why isn't that guy doing this? Because 99% of the guys are like sweating me. So she's not in your life because you've dehumanized her. That's pedestalizing some girl for no reason. She's done, based on nothing.
I'll say it once again, completely cut off all Black Pill videos. Like I knew as you started talking, I knew right away that like you were watching Black Pill videos because they get these beliefs, and I've seen them time and time again. But it's really not going to benefit your life in any way. In fact, it's going to actually set you back in a lot of ways. There's a lot better stuff you can watch and follow, like my content or anyone else's content on this panel. So yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, and start looking for counter evidence. Like when you see a girl with a shorter guy, be like, oh, that's evidence. If you see you talking to a girl, she responds well, that's evidence that girls like me, that I'm cool, that girls want to be with me, that I am confident, that I'm awesome. And always use those references to build up those beliefs of yourself, right? 10 years from now, 5 years from now, what are the beliefs that you want to have? And then just reinforce those with the experiences that you get. That's how you create this identity. That's how it becomes this is how it becomes part of who you are.
All right, thanks, Alec. We'll see you back here in 6 months, trolling the videos, saying looks the only thing that matters. So we'll see you back here in 6 months' time. Okay, appreciate you. We'll catch you then. Okay, you'll be telling us how good looking we are. And all right, take care, bro.
All right, man. Be good, bro.
Please don't do that.
All right.
I like the black pill guys. Okay,
I love that. I love that. Like it doesn't really bother me if someone's like a 1 out of 10 and they're a black pill. It's like, okay, it kind of makes sense. But it's the problem is that there's a normal distribution curve, and most of the audience of those videos
that were
like average
up chats that were influenced by the black pill. I've seen that happen. Guys who are like, as they're talking, I'm like, damn, how ugly is this guy? And they send me photos. I'm like, damn, this guy's way better looking than me. But he believes he's not attractive enough to like meet anyone in America.
Dude, I feel like if Paul Janko was popular in this era right now, the black pill would be destroying that guy. Because that dude was super like good looking back in the day, you know?
Yeah. He was actually the first. He wasn't the first person I found, but he was the first person that got me to take an approach.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says like it's not looks, and he's like totally against that. He thinks it's ridiculous. He's like, it gets you in the door, but it's not, obviously we know better. It's not just looks.
One of the things I've thought about is it's basically like it gives you a couple extra fuck ups, right? If you're super good looking, you can fuck up like once, and the girl's like, okay, whatever, I'll move past it. You fuck up twice, she's like, and then you fuck up 3 times, she's like, all right, I'll just move on. Whereas like if you're very not good looking, you don't have as many
free passes,
like mulligans, right?
Yeah, you get a couple more free passes. That's
I think it's just initial attraction. You could say the same about like pre-selection. Like if you're around a bunch of old girls, you probably got a few more fuck ups. Or if you enter really like charismatically and get the girl's attention, you probably got a few more fuck ups. Like
but when you're like as jacked as me, girls they just allow you to do whatever, dude. You could fuck up like perpetually, and they're just like, oh yeah. They're just like, I gotta feel his biceps against me, his abs rubbing up and down my body.
What a lovely image. All right, guys, we've gone for 2 hours. There's no one else backstage. It was a fun concept. We'll do this again. So
yeah, it was cool, man.
Tune in next Monday, guys.
Better without Sartain.
Yeah, Sartain. Yeah, I'm sure he'll come at one point.
Yeah, boxing week next week.
All right, it's been fun aura farming with you guys.
Thanks,
we all
Alex.
ate and left no crumbs. Listen, I'm going to put the fries in the bag in a second, but you guys are giving main character energy. So, yeah, you truly are him.
All right. See you later, y'all.
This was a certified hood classic.